Welcome back to the Bold Moves podcast. We are so glad that you've joined us today. Spring is in the air. It's a new season. We got baseball that's up and running. How about that? It's a good time of year.
Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball. To be clear, I was at a spring training game a few weeks ago, and I did not know there's new technology they're using where batters, I think they were just testing this out in spring training, not the real season. But they were allowing batters and pitchers to challenge the call of the umpire, whether it's a ball or a strike.
Interesting. So it wasn't like a manager's decision to call.
No, in real time, the batter would put up his hand and challenge. And I think the rule in spring training was that you could challenge as many times as you wanted to until you missed it twice. And then they're like, all right, you're wasting our time, whatever it is from this point forward. But also, to be clear, just in the first 1 or 2 innings, there were probably 5 or 6 challenges, and 4 out of those 5 were actually overturned. Like the ump made terrible calls. So it's pointing out a tragedy in real life baseball. We're dealing with a thing, Corey. We're dealing with a thing.
I mean, how far down this road do you want to go talking about baseball and umpires?
I feel like that could take us down a trail.
Home life. John, I am a Cubs fan by marriage, and so. My joke is with my husband, because he's obsessed with the Chicago Cubs. And it's my joke that anytime we come home or anytime we go anywhere together, there's always a Cubs game on. He turns on the TV as soon as we walk in the door. Boom, Cubs game on. We go out for dinner, turns on his phone. Boom, Cubs game on. I was like,
watching the Cubs.
Why are they always on?
Well, while we're talking about umps, John used to ump, didn't he? He was an umpire.
He did. He actually, I told this story a little bit ago. So John came home one day. He was at his parents' house, and he came home and he goes, "Hey, you like my hat?" And I said, It's all black. And I was like, the bill's kind of short. And he goes, yeah, it's my old umpire hat. And I said, why is the bill so short? And he said, because it has to fit the mask. Yeah. And so you can see it. I said, well, you look ridiculous. Please take it off.
Shot to the ego. Yeah, poor John. Okay. Was he a good umpire?
Probably. He loves the game of baseball. And
he does love baseball.
He's good at it. He knows it in and out. But anyway.
That's fantastic. What's the rabbit trail you would like to go down with baseball?
The funny here's what I was thinking actually, as you're saying, like the challenge. Yeah. The reason that you can challenge is because of technology, right? Everybody who watches baseball knows they have like the pitch. The
square. You've seen that for years. Yeah.
It's been there for a long time. So it's part of we know whether or not something's actually a ball or a strike instantaneously.
We can see if it's a good call or a bad call. Yep.
So the question, this is what's going to be funny to me. Are we going to make a change in baseball to where we just follow that and that's just balls and strikes and there's no arguing and it is what it is?
It'd be pretty easy.
Or is it going to be like what you just described, where people get to challenge because we love the theatrics of it?
Who knows? Who knows where we're going?
Isn't that part of like the drama of an NFL game?
Yeah, it brings flair.
Is reviews and throwing the red flag and
But you need the umpire there. Like there is the energy of the umpire. They got to have them back there.
Umpires work for years on their out or their strike call.
Yes. Yeah. I was umping a softball game one time, like a men's church league, which shouldn't be that big of a deal. But honestly, that's where more fights have happened in my life that I've witnessed than any other place on earth. I was just nervous. It was the first time I'd ever done it. And a close call was made at second base. The guy slid in. It looked like he got under the tag. And so from where I was, I called him safe, but I did the motion for out. You talk about mixed signals. Like, safe! And everybody was confused. It started, I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like 22. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm nervous. I thought he was safe. So, I would not be any better than any of these guys. It's actually much more difficult than it looks. So anyway, that was a fun rabbit trail. Happy spring, everyone. Spring is in the air.
Turns out baseball was not our topic for this podcast.
Turns out we're talking about something better.
Like all the ins and outs. Like I love baseball because I love the ice cream. Every time that's at a baseball
goodness. All right.
Like in the helmet cup, and that's all I can think about.
To be clear,
come back.
When we lived in Florida, Dana would only come with me to baseball games because she could get Outback there. They had a little Outback restaurant.
Cool.
She's like, I'll go. I'll have some Outback.
They have great food at baseball games.
So good. Hey, today we have actually a really incredible guest. We have a friend named Stan Reeder who's joining us. His job is he is the USA-Canada Regional Director for the Church of the Nazarene.
That's
part of the denomination.
Important.
It is important. He leads the charge for our denomination in the USA and Canada. And Stan has done an incredible job of just turning the ship around in the sense that we didn't really have a clear mission or vision of what we were trying to accomplish. And he, as a leader over the last few years, has really pointed us in the right direction and has us focused on bringing people to Jesus, which doesn't seem like a big deal. It's like, hey, it's a church. Shouldn't that be the focus? But to be clear, it can get a little blurry sometimes. And as an organization, it matters.
We've talked about that many times on the podcast, how you have a mission, but if you go off that mission just a little bit, it can really, down the road, lead to some things you did not intend.
And so I deeply appreciate the way that Stan is leading us, and it's already exciting to see the fruit of what's already happening, because there is real excitement. We're starting to turn the corner. People are saying yes to Jesus. We're celebrating changed lives. Like it's happening now in such a way that it's inspiring change that is rippling throughout our denomination across the USA and Canada. So I would love to introduce our friend and welcome Stan Reeder to the Bold Moves podcast. Stan, it is so good to have you with us on the Bold Moves podcast. Thank you for joining, my friend.
Glad to be here.
Here's the thing. I've gotten to know you over the years. We get to spend some time together every year at a group that gets together of pastors. And to be clear, Stan, you might not think much of this, but I just need to start this conversation by sharing this with you. We ate dinner together with another couple a couple of months ago, and during dinner, that conversation somehow started talking about neck tightness and muscle relaxers. And the friend that we were eating with, he made the recommendation that if you really have a tight muscle, what you need to do is go straight to Tractor Supply and get horse liniment. It's muscle relaxer for horses, and this is real life. He said, I've been using it for years, and it's great. And he said, it's so powerful, you need to really wear rubber gloves to put it on so you don't cause any damage to your hands.
I hate to be a naysayer, but I'm not sure that works all that well.
That's exactly right. I said the side effects are trotting and neighing, maybe a galloping every now and then.
Oh my word.
I just remember laughing so much about that. I've actually thought about that more than I should recently, Stan. I'm kind of tempted to go to Tractor Supply and try it out. I don't know.
It's the big yellow bottle with the skull and crossbones on it.
Oh my goodness.
That's the one. Yeah, that's it. That's the brand. Stan, I'm so thankful on a much more serious note for the vision that you are casting for USA and Canada. You are the regional director for our denomination, leading the charge for us. And you have been setting a course for us that I deeply appreciate. Would you mind just kind of sharing the vision that you have for USA Canada, where we're at in that process? Because there's a lot of really great stuff happening right now.
Well, thanks for asking. It was a vision that was birthed in prayer.
Yeah.
And we asked people to respond to the question, what's the Spirit saying to the church today? Mm-hmm. And as a result of that, there were 4 things that just popped up way higher than anything else. And the first one was that in a day when we're polarized in the church and outside the church and our culture, we'd be mobilizing all Nazarenes in unity.
Yeah.
The second one was that in a time when it's tempting to just kind of focus on us 4 or no more, that we need to get outside the walls of the church and fall in love with people who don't know Jesus.
Yep.
And that's about blessing our community. And the third one was that in a time when, in a secular culture, when we're told don't talk about Jesus, that we be a people that are bringing people to Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then finally, that in a world that longs to see authenticity and really truly transform lives, that we be becoming Christ-like disciples.
Yeah.
So those are the 4 things that we're emphasizing. And we call it the cycle of resurgence. And we believe that as you start with blessing our community, it will lead to people being brought to Jesus.
Yep.
And as people are brought to Jesus, it'll lead to people being transformed and becoming Christ-like disciples. And as people are becoming Christ-like disciples, it will lead to blessing our community. And it's a cycle that continues on. And I always say, churches, be careful about getting on the cycle because it's hard to get off of it once you're on it.
Right.
Good.
Which is great. And we're in this season right now where, if I can just brag on what God is doing, to be honest. This is the first year where, in years of decline in our denomination in America, we've actually shown an uptick of growth and more people coming to Jesus. And you can kind of already sense that a movement is starting to happen. I mean, do you want to talk about that a little bit at all, or what's your take on that?
20 years of decline was a very heavy load that we were carrying as a church, wondering, and it wasn't just a decline, it was 1% for 12 years, 3% for 3 years, 6% for 3 years. Ooh. It looked like when you graph that out, it looked like a cliff.
Yeah.
And so we are so thankful to see a reversal in that for the first time in 20 years, 7% increase in
that's amazing
at the church. But the thing that's most exciting to me is we saw over 16% increase in people coming to know Jesus last year. 16%.
Amazing. That's
that
awesome.
First year ever in the history of our denomination, we've seen that kind of turnaround.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And Stan, I just want to say thank you for leading the charge. I've been able to be a small part of that process behind the scenes and kind of see it come to life. And for you to lead the charge on that is no small thing. And to get everybody turned around and focusing on the same thing, that's a really difficult task. And to be clear, Kristen, you were there at M25. Yeah. We just had a conference in Kansas City that I felt just brought everything into focus. And I so appreciated your message. Did you have any thoughts that you wanted to share with Stan about his message with everyone?
Stan, your message was my favorite one out of all of the sessions.
Look at that. And she's not just saying that. Outside of John Maxwell and Kevin Jack, you were her favorite one.
Oh my goodness.
We just had Kevin on a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't say a word to him other than his cardigan.
All you did was make fun of his outfit. That's all you did.
Yeah, I didn't tell him because it's true. You were my favorite one.
Look at that. And my thing was, I loved it because of the heart that you shared, Stan, kicking off M25 with the story that you did of Luke 15. Can you speak into that just a little bit of your heart there? Because it's all about bringing people to Jesus, and that's the cycle of resurgence. That's the phase we find ourselves in right now. Do you want to speak into that at all?
Well, the beauty about Luke 15 is, it follows the hardest teaching Jesus ever did. He started talking about picking up your cross and following me, and you cannot be my disciple. He said that 4 times in the previous chapter, and it's all the same teaching. And the thing that amazes me is when Jesus kind of got to the hardest teaching, that's when he really attracted the notorious sinners in the culture. Mm-hmm. And I just think that's because people are looking for authenticity and transportation transparency is what they're really looking for.
Stan, what kind of transportation are they looking for specifically?
Bus ministry, right?
Bus ministry. That is so deep. Stan, thank you. That I've never heard that before. That's really good.
Go a little deeper on that.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us have fun with you. Yeah. So transparency. I think that transparency.
Transparency is what we're looking for here. So anyway, you go into the Luke 15, and it's all about lost people. And what that really just tells us more than anything is, well, the scripture says Jesus came to seek and save those who are lost.
Yep.
And that's what Luke 15 is all about. It's about Jesus' heart for lost people. And when Jesus' heart is for lost people, Lord, help us to have that same heart that grieves and breaks for people that are far from Jesus.
Yeah.
The encouraging part of those 3 stories to me, though, is, the scripture says when the shepherd was looking for the lost sheep, it's when he found it. And when the lady was looking for the lost coin, it's when she found it. And it was the son when he came to his senses.
Yeah.
I just believe that when we go enter into partnership with God's prevenient grace that's already working in lives. Yeah. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when they come to find Jesus. And that just encourages me so hard, so strongly. Just get in there and do the work, be a partner, and believe the Lord his saving grace is powerful today.
Yeah. That's such a good word. It's not if, it's when. And I think that resonates, Stan. Like if that's the heart of Jesus, like to go after, to seek and save that which was lost. I think that's such a great call. Like that has to be our heart. We can't miss that. It's the most important thing. We got to go after him.
Can I tell you a quick story about a guy that went to M25?
Absolutely.
And, we gave away those coins.
Yes.
That I've got it right here in my pocket here.
Nice.
And a guy by the name of Lester Jones just wrote me last week. And he said he picked up one of those coins, and he's been praying the Lord would send him somebody that he'd find lost coins. That's what he's been all about. The Lord helped me find lost coins. Well, he had a guy come to his church last week that knocked on his door and asked for permission. He was kind of a Duck Dynasty kind of guy, and he had his metal detector with him. And he asked for permission from the pastor. Could I look on the church property for lost coins? Could I look for lost coins?
Get out of here.
Up a relationship with this guy, and sure enough, the guy's wife at that time was just shortly after that got into a medical emergency and was in ICU.
Wow.
And he said to the pastor, I don't know much about this, but could you come and pray for my wife? And I see she's not going to live, and I'm just worried about her eternity for her.
Yeah.
And so he went and visited the ICU, and she was just ready to accept Jesus as her savior. She's in heaven today because, and you can't make this stuff up, because a guy that was looking for lost coins found a guy that was looking for lost coins.
That's amazing. Man. That is amazing.
Yeah,
I love those stories. So here's the thing. You've made, we're on the podcast Bold Move, so let's just go for it. You've made the bold move of saying, hey, we need to turn this around. We need to change our focus. And you're already seeing the stories. It's starting to happen. And I think that these moments, they start rippling through eternity. And I like to say at Crossroads, when we make these decisions, when we make the bold moves, they ripple through eternity. And these decisions, they impact families for generations to come. Like just being willing to go after the people who are lost and be able to be Jesus to them, be focused on bringing them to Jesus. And so it's such a good focus. I think so highly of you, Stan, and what you're doing. And I'm wholeheartedly just behind this movement to do whatever we can to be relevant in a culture that's desperate for hope and to do everything we can to bring people to Jesus. So I just say thank you, Stan. Thank you for your friendship, but thank you for leading the charge and keeping us focused on this mission, because it's making a difference already. We can see it.
Yeah, right on. Thank you. Love that you're a part of this.
Well, we're honored to be a part of it. And honestly, we're going to do some more work on thinking about the transportation issue, Stan. We're going to lean into that and really do some research on that.
Yeah. I think if you went with high-speed rail, that might be something that it's a project that's already started.
Moral of the story today, don't misspeak when you're on the Bold News podcast, because Tim will never let you live it down.
I love it so much. I love it. Stan, thank you. I love you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for all that you're doing. You're making a bold move, and it's making a huge difference. So thank you, my friend.
Love you guys.
I am so thankful for Stan, so appreciative that he would come and join us on the Bold Moves podcast today. He is really making a huge difference within the Church of the Nazarene and is impacting thousands of people in the sense that he's planting the seeds for revival, and I love it.
Stan is the man.
Stan is the man.
I feel bad that he pulled his coin out and I don't have my coin in my pocket. Like, I can't say that he's my favorite or he was my favorite speaker and then not
have the coin.
But in my defense, my son is learning about money at school, and so anytime he finds any coin, he takes it because he's like, "This is amazing."
That is awesome.
So I have a lost coin.
Yes, you do.
That's not exactly what he was talking about,
directly.
But that's okay.
Really funny. Okay, yeah, I get it. Nicely played also by just letting him know that he was your favorite. Good work. Good work.
I'm just telling the truth.
So Stan is one of our leaders for the Church of the Nazarene, right? And so a lot of people actually may not know this. Crossroads is part of the Church of the Nazarene.
It's something that we should always talk about, bring up from time to time. The Church of the Nazarene is a worldwide denomination. It's actually one of the fastest growing movements outside of USA, Canada, and a lot of different regions around the world. Sure. It's really growing in a lot of different places. But the Church of the Nazarene, we're all united in our belief in Jesus, obviously, but in our goal of living these lives where we're not bound by all of the hurts, habits, and hang-ups and the addictions that we are to. We believe that Jesus gives the power for us to overcome, and that life that is fully surrendered to Him is changed forever, and that we can live for Him. And at Crossroads, we talk about that in that term of, we believe that the best life that you can live is that life that is constantly surrendered to Jesus. You say yes to Jesus, that's how that relationship begins. but it continues on by saying yes to Jesus every single day. And God gives us the power to live that life, and that's a beautiful thing to celebrate. And so that's really the core teaching of the Church of the Nazarene. And man, I can get behind that. Let's go there. Let's give people something real and celebrate lives that are changed by the power of Jesus and the Holy Spirit working in our lives. Yeah. It's a good movement.
Well, and I do very much appreciate the cycle of resurgence. Is that what he said?
Yep.
As he was kind of explaining that and laying that out, actually, this is a proud moment for us at Crossroads. And for you, Tim, as somebody who's cast the vision for Crossroads and where we're headed as a church and who we've been for the last many years, we have 3 C's, connect with God, celebrate the change, and contribute to the community.
Yeah.
Those line up exactly with what he was talking about.
Oh, that's interesting.
That cycle of resurgence.
You guys are on the same level.
Maybe he stole it from me.
Don't you say that. Don't you put me on the same platform as Stan. How dare you?
But actually, that's really cool. Like he's using that concept to reset the culture of the Church of the Nazarene.
Which is big.
And for us looking at that, actually, that doesn't reset anything for us. So I feel like we're on mission already. And that's not an easy thing. It didn't just happen. There's been a lot of work behind the scenes to make that happen. But we can be proud of that.
Yeah. And it is interesting because we already can see at Crossroads, we've been able to celebrate so many amazing stories. A few weeks ago, we had a couple of people be baptized at our 11:30 service at our Goshen campus. Mm-hmm. And someone had driven all the way from Texas to northern Indiana to be baptized with their friend, to share this beautiful and sacred moment together. And then he left an hour later to drive back to Missouri for like a business trip. Like it was this huge to-do about celebrating a changed life. And to know that what we get to see by living on mission is connecting people with Jesus, celebrating that change, having that light turn on where suddenly their lives are focused on doing everything they can to contribute to the community, the kingdom, and live for Jesus. That matters. And it reinforces it because, man, it's hard to not get excited when you're always celebrating lives that are being changed by Jesus. Yeah. That reinforces everything. And so, yes, as a whole, as an organization, for us to be focusing on that cycle and uniting together in that, I'm telling you, we talk about awakenings and movements being started. It's all about being united in our focus on the things that are most important. And that's us being laser focused on the mission that God has given us. And Stan has given us a tangible method of how we put that into practice in our churches across the country, across the region. And I'm really excited to see how that plays out and really excited to see it's already turning around. Like what he said is significant for 20 years of straight decline. And then all of a sudden it goes up 7%.
That's hard to break.
That's a big deal. Turning that around is a big deal. That's no small thing.
It would have been successful to, if it's on a steep cliff of decline, just to like even out the decline, like to make that decline go a little bit slower.
We didn't lose.
But instead, we're going in the right direction.
It's a awesome. Really positive sign. And so a lot of that is thanks to his leadership. And I so appreciate not only his leadership, but his friendship. He's just a really good guy. So it's fantastic. I was glad he was able to join us. I will say this, when it comes to making bold moves, which is the whole point of the podcast, sometimes we just have to refocus, right? And we talk about that all the time. But I would just encourage people who are listening, make sure that the things that you're focusing on are the things that Jesus is focused on. And if we can make sure that our lives are being lived every day with that mission of how can I bring someone to Jesus? I think God honors those prayers. What a great story that he shared about Lester and God bringing that person in. What a great story. I think God's ready to unleash stories like that all around us, and we get to be a part of that. So let's just stay focused on the mission, do everything we can to live that life that God has called us to and bring people to Jesus. And we'll see and experience those stories in real time.
Because it is a bold move for us as a church, Crossroads as a denomination, Church of the Nazarene, to do that all together. That's great. But it actually does come down to each one of us.
It comes down to us.
Acting in faith in all of those areas and doing what it takes.
Yeah. And I think that when we own that as individuals, like this is my mission, this is how I am going to live, these are the choices that I am going to make, that's when it truly does, to your point, it comes alive. So if that's the bold move that God's asking you to make, be bold. Make sure it's your mission to bring people to Jesus and take every opportunity that comes your way to be that light that shines in the darkness. This has been good. We had Stan Reeder on the podcast today. What a great moment. Thanks for joining us. And we'll just say it again because I can, and sometimes it's awful at the end. When it comes time to make your move, be bold.
Okay,
bold moves.